Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. I'm George, and today we've got a very interesting show for you guys. First of all, we've got the Holosun HS407K-X2 that just came in. This is for the M&P pistol build series that we started a couple weeks ago. Today should have been part 2 of that build series, and it kind of is, but a very interesting thing happened that we're going to talk about, which is a little bit unfortunate. I don't know if you can see here, but my M&P is missing a slide. So we're going to discuss why that is. But first, we're going to go over this optic that I got. There's a very specific reason why I chose this optic. With all the other ones that are available on the market, why I chose to go with the 407K for this build, and we'll get into that and the specs and the features of this optic, and then we'll kind of go into why my pistol is missing a slide and why it's very, very important for you to have backup firearms, backup guns. Because if something does happen to your primary, you don't want to be left in a situation where you're unable to defend yourself, your home, or your family if something happens while your primary gun is out of service. So before we get started, if you guys could please like this, comment, subscribe, and share. That is greatly appreciated. We just passed 200 subscribers this last week, which is exciting. The first 100 took like 4 months. The second 100 took like 2 weeks. So we're building the channel faster and faster, and we're excited to get to a point where we can get this kind of content to a lot more of you guys. So yeah, if you could please do that, we'll get started. So first things first, the Holosun 407K-X2. Now, the reason that I chose this optic specifically is there's a couple reasons. So the gun that I'm putting it on is the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. This is the full-size model, not the 5-inch slide or the 5-inch barrel, but the 4.25-inch barrel, 17-round capacity, 9mm, polymer-framed, striker-fired pistol. This is my favorite striker-fired pistol. I recently installed the Apex Tactical flat-face trigger system in it, which is an amazing trigger, and it changed the way the gun shot in such an amazing way. It really makes it easier to be more accurate with your initial shot, but especially with your follow-up shots. You can shoot it right off of that reset really easily. It's super clean, super crisp break, very short reset. It's just a fantastic trigger, and I recommend it to anybody that has an M&P 2.0. Unfortunately, my M&P is out of commission right now, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the reason that I got the Holosun 407K, now this is a micro red dot, specifically designed for subcompact pistols, such as the SIG P365 or the Smith & Wesson Shield 2 or Shield Plus, excuse me, guns like that. It's smaller than your standard pistol red dot. And so it's designed for concealed carry, which is not what this gun is. But the interesting thing about this, I found a company, NC Engravers, out of North Carolina, and they will mill your slide for this optic and leave your rear sight, your factory rear sight dovetail intact on the slide. And this optic, when it's direct milled, direct mounted into your slide, without any kind of plates or anything like that, sits low enough that you can co-witness your factory sights through the optic without having to put lower 1/3 co-witness sights or suppressor height sights or anything like that on it. So for a couple reasons, that sounded like a great idea to me. For one, cost savings. I don't have to spend another $100 on some different iron sights, which is nice. Don't have to make the decision whether to put the rear sight behind or in front of the optic. And I really like the factory iron sights that come on the M&P 2.0. They're great sights. They're 3-dot combat sights. And they have a great sight picture. I've not had any trouble shooting this pistol accurately just with the iron sights. And so, I kind of wanted to keep those iron sights. And the fact that there's a way that I can put an optic on it and still co-witness those factory sights was something that sounded really good to me. So when I was trying to make the decision on which red dot to get, that definitely played a part in it. The other thing about that is this optic, Holosun are basically known as extremely high quality pistol optics. Second only probably to the Trijicon RMR. Now, if you're going to get an RMR, you're going to spend, between $400 and $600 for one, depending which model you get. The Holosuns, while being extremely high quality, very reliable, very durable, rugged optics, are a lot more affordable. And especially the 407 507K series, you're gonna get these for less than $300, which is a big deal. All this stuff costs a lot of money. This all comes right out of my pocket personally. The channel isn't making any money or anything for me yet. We're hoping to change that here soon, but at the moment, this all comes out of my pocket, and it's very expensive. And so if I could save money where I can while still getting high quality, reliable, dependable, rugged gear, I'm going to try to do that. And I'd like to let you guys know so that you guys can get stuff that is affordable but high quality as well. And so that's the biggest reason I went with this optic. Now, this optic has a lot of great features. The 407, the difference between the 407 and the 507 is if you have multiple reticles or not. So the 507 series, whether it's the 507K or the 507C, which the C is just the bigger model basically, the K is the more compact one. So the 507 series, you have a choice. You can switch between different reticles. So you could have just the dot, or you could have a circle with a dot, or just a circle, or they have like the ACSS reticle where you have the big circle that you don't really see if you're on target, but it can help you get on target if you're not, because you can see the edges of that circle, help you get your sight alignment quicker. But in talking to a lot of people and in doing my research, I found that most people that get the 507K really only use the dot anyway. And so I figured, I could save another $40 or something there. So I did. So I went with the 407K. This was like $240, 230 actually, I think, which is a fairly decent price. I ordered it. It came very quickly. There's a lot of places you can order this, Brownells, Primary Optics, those kind of companies. They even have it on Amazon. So if you're looking for this, it's easy to find. It's in stock right now in tons of different places, which is nice because if you guys know anything about the the firearms market and the firearms accessory market the last few years, finding things in stock has not always been easy recently. So features of this thing, it has a 6 MOA dot. Now MOA, when it comes to a red dot, has to do with how big the dot is. And what it is 6 MOA means that that dot will cover a 6-inch space at 100 yards. So, your red dots can come, generally the pistol ones come anywhere between 2 and 6 MOA. 3.5 is a common one. 2 MOA, 6 MOA. So the smaller the dot, the more precise you can shoot with it. So with a 2 MOA dot, your dot only covers up 2 inches at 100 yards. You can definitely take more precise shots with it. With a bigger dot, such as this, the 6 MOA dot, It's not quite as precise at distance, but what it's good for is it's easier to pick up quickly. And since this pistol's whole point is to be a home defense kind of thing, fast target acquisition is more important to me than extreme precision at distance. You know, I have other things that are better at distance. Not that I don't want to be able to shoot this pistol well at distance, and I'm sure I'll be able to better with this 6 MOA dot than I could with the iron sights. But fast target acquisition was what I was after, and that's what you get with the 6 MOA dot. It's easier to pick up quickly, for sure. Now the red dots that I have on my two AR-15s are both 2 MOA, and they are significantly more precise, for sure. This is a bigger dot, but it's a very clear dot. So we'll get into that in a minute. It takes a CR1632 battery, which is a fairly common battery. You know, we sell it where I work. I made sure of that, so it's something that is easy to find. That's important. But it also has a 50,000 hour battery life on setting 6. So, you know, if you keep it brighter than that, you're going to get a little less battery life. If you keep it dimmer, you're going to get a little more. But that equates to about 5 years of battery life. And one reason that it lasts that long is because this has Holosun's patented shake awake technology. So after a certain period of time of just sitting, it turns off. But as soon as you move it, as soon as you pick it up, touch it in any way, it is on immediately. Same kind of thing as I have in my SIG optics here. And I really, really love that feature. It's nice to not have to worry about turning your optic off to save battery and not have to worry about turning it on if you find yourself in a situation where you need to quickly be able to use it. So that shake awake thing was very important to me and was a big reason why I chose this optic, or the Holosun in general. So it's got 12 brightness settings, 10 daylight settings, and 2 night vision. So if you do run nods, you can use this optic. I don't have night vision, but it's an interesting thing for some people, I'm sure. It also has a locking function where you can lock it out so that if you are carrying it concealed, you don't accidentally hit your buttons, change your settings, anything like that. It also has, you know, it's made out of aluminum, not polymer, anything like that. That's very important to me. I wanted something very rugged, and this one is. It's waterproof, and as most red dots are, or should be, it's parallax free. So let's open this thing up and see what we got here. So 407K comes in a box like this, and it's nice packaging if you're into that sort of thing. So this slides off, opens up, got a little card from Gun Shack, that's who I got it from. A little bit of foam on top. You get the instruction manual, lens cloth. Basically the same kind of stuff you get with just about any red dot. It's got a tool here for adjusting your windage and elevation. That's a nice thing to have. You get your screws, 2 sets of them. I'm sure I will read and find out about that, why you'd have 2 different kinds of screws, but I guarantee there's a reason for that. And so that's what the packaging looks like inside, and here's your optic. This is the 407K-X2, and let's see if you guys can see the red dot in there or not. Yeah, there we go. So that's that 6 MOA dot. Very, very crystal clear, which is really nice. It's actually a lot clearer of a dot than on either of my SIG optics. Yeah, very easy to pick up, very crisp, very clear. It's a bigger dot for sure. But I really do like the reticle. I was very happy with it as soon as I got it. As you can see, you know, shake awake, the thing is already on. It has a very nice rugged aluminum housing. You know, so some of the other smaller dots or some of the other more affordable dots, such as like the SIG Romeo Zero, things like that. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I don't really want to talk bad about any brand, but I did a lot of comparative research before I bought this. And, you know, a lot of them are either very thin up here, your hood over it, or you have to buy something else that goes over it to, keep it safe basically, or they're just polymer. Some of them have polymer instead of glass for your window. This one doesn't. This one is made out of very high quality materials. It's like 7075 T6 aircraft grade aluminum. It is super rugged, but it's also compact. So to give you an idea on the size, since my one pistol is missing its slide, I'm going to set it on here for a minute. So this is a standard like Glock 19 size pistol. It's got a 4-inch barrel. This is my Ruger Security 9. So that's what it looks like, just sitting on top of a slide. Now when it's direct milled, it's going to sit a little deeper into that. But that's about the size of it. It's got I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a rear sight built into it. So if you do have a pistol where you have to mill out your rear sight in order to mount this, you do get a rear sight there that you should be able to co-witness with a standard front sight. So the other things I really like about this optic, it's got easy to access buttons on the side to increase and decrease the brightness of your reticle. Easy to access windage and elevation. You got there and there. You don't have some button up inside here where you're going to smudge your glass every time, like certain other budget red dots for pistols. And another big deal to me, right here, that's the battery tray. So the battery tray slides out the side. So when your optic is mounted on your pistol, if at that 5-year or so period you do need to change batteries, you can just slide the tray out here and change it. You don't have to take your optic off your pistol, remount it, possibly strip the screws out because you put blue Loctite on them, possibly have to re-zero it after taking it off and remounting it. I didn't want to go through that kind of hassle, and with this optic, you don't have to. So that's another huge thing for me. As much as the RMR is like the industry standard and probably the most rugged pistol optic art out there, this thing has a lot of features that I like a lot better, Specifically that side battery tray, the shake awake, and those kinds of things really just make your life a lot easier. So those were the biggest reasons that I chose this optic. And now, as soon as I'm able to get my pistol back together, we'll take this thing to the range and test it out, and I'll tell you what I think of it. I'm already pretty confident I'm gonna like it. This is my first pistol red dot, but I've been shooting red dots on my ARs for a long time, and I love them. They make fast target acquisition extremely easy. They make precision shooting very easy out to, a fairly decent distance. A lot easier than iron sights are, that's for sure. So we will get into that, but my first impression, I'm impressed. I like it so far. I'm really glad I went with this choice, and it seems like a great optic. So now to the point why I don't have a slide on my M&P 2.0 anymore. I sent my slide off to a company called NC Engravers in North Carolina. They specialize in custom slide work, and they do optic milling. They specifically will mill for this optic while leaving your rear sight dovetailing, and that sounded really good to me. So I sent it off to them. I filled out their online form of what optic I wanted it milled for and what color Cerakote job I wanted it done. I picked Midnight Bronze, and I mailed it off. And the same day I ordered the optic, I paid for the slide work to get done, sent my slide to United States Postal Service, and I was excited to see how it came back. Well, a few days later, I checked my email, and it said that it should have arrived there. So I emailed the guys that I sent it to, and they told me that they refused the package because the package arrived empty. So it turns out the United States Postal Service lost my slide. And it's not just a stock slide. When I installed the Apex Tactical trigger in it, part of that whole kit is a new striker block that really is where a lot of the magic comes from. It really smooths up your trigger pull and your take up on the trigger pull. So that was kind of a stressful deal. It really bothered me. I went over to the post office. I talked to the person working there. She didn't have a whole lot of answers for me. The next morning I met with the postmaster, talked to him about it. He gave me some paperwork and some instruction on what to do. I filled out an online form for lost mail recovery. I've submitted that. I haven't really heard anything back yet. By now, it's been a week since my slide was supposed to arrive at the place that does the custom slide work. They still haven't found it. I am very lucky. I did insure it for $300 for the package, which is about what it'll probably cost. Might be more. It might not even cover the whole cost. But if they don't find it, I'm going to have to get a new OEM slide for my pistol. And I'm going to have to get a new Apex Tactical Striker block, because that was part of the whole point of putting the new trigger in it. And I'm going to have to reinstall that, which involves, knocking the rear sight out. It was a little bit of a hassle, not something that I really wanted to do twice. So I really, really, really hope that they find it. And if not, I really hope that I don't have trouble getting that insurance claim paid out. Because I shouldn't have to buy another slide when I already had one. I should be getting my slide back, milled for an optic, Cerakote done, and have a video of that for you guys. So it's kind of a bummer. And if any of you guys have experience with this sort of thing, with the mail losing stuff like that of yours, let me know what your experience was and tell me what you did about it and what the outcome was. Any help I can get on this would be greatly appreciated. It's been pretty stressful. It's really bothered me that this happened, but it did, and it is what it is. It's the reality, so now I just have to deal with it. So that's what I'm doing. So at the moment, I'm out of slide. This pistol, I can't use it. I've got a full magazine of 9mm hollow points. Can't shoot them without a slide. Anyway, that's a bummer. So it is what it is, but it brings me to a really good point that I wanted to make in this video. And that is what the importance is of having multiple pistols is, or multiple guns, whatever. Some people wonder why Second Amendment advocates, why people that are into guns, why they feel like they need so many guns. And to an extent, you don't need so many guns. Although there are different purposes for different kinds of guns. And so for me, there's a reason why I like to get a lot of them. Part of it being this channel. I want to be able to bring you guys lots of new content. Part of it is fun. But there are different things that you use different guns for. But I also feel like it's important to have multiple guns that can serve the same purpose. So because I'm missing my M&P, I sure am glad that I have this Ruger Security 9. This pistol has been almost just as reliable. I've had minimal failures with it, and I've put tons of rounds through it. It has the pick rail, so I took the light right off my M&P. I put it on this. This is sitting in my fast access, bedside safe now, where the M&P used to sit. So if something horrible happened while I'm still missing my slide, I am still prepared for that. And that's really important. The likelihood of someone breaking into your house or something, where you need your firearm to defend your family, your home, and your life is very low. It really is. But if you're going to be prepared for it, that's Murphy's Law, where if something's going to happen, it will, and it'll happen at the worst possible time. I could just see something like that happening when my gun's not working, when I'm missing the slide. So it's nice to know that I still have something that can do the same job. And so I do believe in having backups. The adage, 1 is none, 2 is 1. It's kind of the same theory as to have backup iron sights, backup sighting systems on your rifle or on your pistol. I run red dots on both of these, but I also have flip-up iron sights on both of them. Just in case your red dot goes down, you still have a way to, get a sight picture. Well, this is kind of goes with the same whole theory there. As primary weapon is down, at least I still have a backup that I can use for the same kind of thing. This pistol has a little bit less capacity, 15 rounds versus 17. A little bit smaller barrel. It's a 4-inch barrel versus a 4 1/4. But it'll basically do the same thing as that M&P would for me. And so, I'm really grateful that I have something like this. And so I recommend that to you guys as well. Back up your primary stuff, whether it's sights, whether it's firearms, whatever. If you can afford to, make sure you have a backup. That way, if something breaks, if something is down for any reason, you still have a way to defend yourself and to, protect your household and your family. So I just really wanted to make that point in today's video. It's something that came up that I didn't expect to. It's an unfortunate situation, but it is what it is. So yeah, just remember, back up what you've got. Make sure that you're prepared no matter what. Ruger Security 9. Runs pretty well. So in today's video, we did a little unboxing of the Holosun 407K pistol red dot. We went over the features of it and the specs and why I chose this optic for my M&P build series. We also talked about why my M&P is out of commission at the moment and why it's important to have backups. I thought this was a great video, very informative for you guys. I wish it could have been the video where I showed off my new Cerakote job and took the new red dot to the range. That'll have to be next time, whether they find my slide or pay out the insurance and I'm able to purchase a new one. There will be a resolution to this one way or another. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later and I can bring that content to you guys. But thanks for watching this video. Please, if you have a comment about what red dots you choose, if you have, if you run a Holosun versus a Trijicon RMR versus anything else, what you like about them, what you don't. Let me know if you have backups of your primary weapons and what you think about that, because I've found now that is actually very important, not just a talking point. And if you have experience with the post office losing your stuff, let me know how that turned out for you. And if you have any, if you could help me out in any way about what I need to do in order to get this resolved, I'm all ears. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Please like this if you like this video. Comment, share, and please subscribe. Check out our Patreon page. We just posted it. We're in the process of getting that all set up. But any help we can get to help finance all this stuff, any dollars that we get from that will go to new firearms, new accessories, and ammunition for this channel. That would be extremely, extremely helpful. There should be a link to it at the bottom of this in the description. I appreciate you guys. Remember, from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped. Thanks.